When you think about SEC football, Kentucky probably does not come to mind. And when you think about big-time quarterback play, the Wildcats probably don't come to mind either. While they had some decent quarterback play with Devin Leary and Will Levis, ultimately Kentucky has been in a terrible spot the last few years, and it's a big reason why Mark Stoops ended up getting fired. Guys like Brock Vandegrift, Gavin Wimsatt, and even Zach Calzada were honestly not good quarterbacks, but new head coach Will Stein has immediately come in and changed everything. This is honestly the most talented quarterback room I've ever seen Kentucky have, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the quarterback that they just landed who everyone in the country wanted. His name is Jake Narat. As you could argue, he's one of the fastest rising players in all of high school football, as he went from a 3-star recruit to now the number 2 overall quarterback recruit in the country, and this is a huge get for Will Stein. But in today's video, I want to talk about who Jake Narat is, go through why he ended up at Kentucky, and my thoughts on him in the future. But before we get started, if you're a big fan of college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you want to support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I can cover next. Now let's go ahead and get started and talk about Jake Narat. Okay, so yeah, this guy's story is pretty nuts, as I did a ton of research on him, and many thought that he would eventually become a 4-star recruit and either end up at Kansas State or Iowa. He went from a relatively unknown player to one of the most highly sought after guys in the country in the last couple of months, and he said, quote, "This whole recruiting process has been crazy. Going from unranked to being known, it's kind of crazy how fast everything goes." Before that, Nawrot was an Iowa legacy, as his dad played both the defensive line and linebacker for the Iowa Hawkeyes from 1995 to 1997. His older sister Leah also was a sophomore on the Hawkeyes women's rowing roster, so when Iowa saw this guy absolutely blow up, many expected that he could end up committing to the Hawkeyes and be a future star for them at the quarterback spot. But other schools also took note, and going back before that, he ended up coming out of the Chicago suburbs, and in 2025, he ended up getting a couple of offers before ever taking a snap. Schools such as Purdue, Toledo, and Miami of Ohio all recognized that he had a lot of talent, but as I said, he was stuck behind a player by the name of Colton Gumino. He's a current quarterback at UCLA, and after taking over as the starter this past fall, Jake ended up going 9-3, and he threw for 3,100 yards, 41 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he completed 71% of his passes. This February, he was starting to blow up as he went from a 3-star to a 4-star and planned a tour which included schools such as Iowa, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Washington, and Kentucky. I mean, those are decent offers, but they weren't exactly the blue blood schools. But after a performance at the Elite 11 in Indianapolis, he was named the top quarterback there, featuring guys such as Mizzou's Braylon Warren, Miami commit Israel Abrams, Michigan commit Camden Lapati, and top 100 quarterback Will Menkel. These are some of the top names in the 2027 class, and Jake went from a 3-star to now one of the top guys in the country. Eventually, it would seemingly come down to 4 schools in Iowa, Kansas State, Oregon, and the Kentucky Wildcats. He was a legacy at Iowa, he loved the coaching staff at K-State, especially Colin Klein, and Oregon was his biggest offer. Kentucky, for some reason, was the wild card here, and on April 15th, after going back and forth, he decided his future was the brightest at Kentucky. He committed to the Wildcats on Sunday, April 15th, and this is one of the biggest gets in school history for them. Kentucky has not signed a 4-star quarterback recruit from outside the state since a player by the name of Morgan Newton, who was part of the class of 2009 and someone I literally grew up watching. The story is definitely a little bit personal here, so what led Nawrot to committing to Kentucky? Well, he said, quote, "I was still on the fence the morning I woke up, but something in my heart just felt right about Kentucky, and I want to go compete in the SEC. The other schools were so amazing with me, and I appreciate them so much, but I'm glad Kentucky took a chance on me and believed in me." 24/7 Sports Scouts compared him to Drew Mestemaker, and I mean, that's a pretty good comparison. While at this time of year, rankings continue to change, at one point he was considered the number 2 quarterback, but it seems on the 24/7 Sports composite, he is settling in at number 5. Other sites are a bit higher on him, but he ended up finishing with 20 total offers and chose the Wildcats over the likes of Iowa, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Florida State, and Kansas State. This is honestly a bit of a death blow for the Hawkeyes and the Wildcats, but the Oregon Ducks will most likely be fine. I'm sure Oregon will grab a top 100 player, as many believe that Will Menkel could end up going there. But what do the scouts think? Well, one said, quote, "On the field, Nawrot shows a big arm with advanced footwork, and he's able to make nearly every throw down the field. His arm strength is on full display every time he pushes the ball, and he's able to stand in the pocket and hit his receivers in stride. He sees the field well and doesn't always lock in on one target, and he moves the pocket well and can throw on the run. He has significant projectability while being advanced for a junior. What's also cool is he plays basketball and is really good for his high school team, so he's just a good athlete who overall I think will be a great fit for Will Stein. In terms of the future fit, I like this a lot. Currently, the Cats have former 4-star quarterback Kenny Minchey, who transferred in from Notre Dame, and they also have Matt Ponatoski, who's one of the top-ranked quarterbacks to ever come out of the state of Kentucky. He's a true freshman. Will Stein has sort of been a genius with quarterbacks the last few years, helping develop Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, and most recently Dante Moore. Schools from all over the country were trying to get him as their head coach, but ultimately Kentucky was able to secure the deal, moving in a completely new direction from Mark Stoops. He was more of a defensive guy who liked to run the ball, whereas Will Stein should have an exciting offense, which lots of quarterbacks and receivers will want to play in. Ultimately, I do think Kentucky will be able to hold on to this commitment, as the modern NIL world has changed the recruiting landscape, but if some of the big-time blue bloods start to go after him, he could potentially be put on flip watch. For now though, this is a huge get for Kentucky, and in my video about the 2027 quarterback class a couple weeks ago, I went through every single 4-star quarterback, and his name wasn't on the list. Go from that to being a top 5 or arguably a top 2 quarterback is an insane jump, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. But what do you guys think? Who's your favorite quarterback in the 2027 class? How do you think Jake Narat will fit at Kentucky? And what topics should I do next? Be sure to let me know down below, leave a like if you support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out the videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon. Until next time, peace.